Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be showing you guys how I achieved this Valentine's Day inspired makeup look. This look can be worn to celebrate any way you want on Valentine's Day, whether you're celebrating with your significant other, you're celebrating with your girls, or you're just celebrating with yourself and giving yourself a bunch of self-love and attention. Whatever it is that you're doing, this look can be worn. It is not too dramatic, but it has, like, a little hint of drama, which is never not okay. So yeah, I did use a lot of Fenty Beauty products for this video, like the new products like the concealers. I used the foundation, I used the powder as well, so I'll be talking about that too. But yeah, if you guys want to see how I got this look, then please keep on watching. Okay, so I'm starting off by prepping my eyes with the P. Louise eyeshadow base. I'm just using a flat concealer brush to place that all over the lid, and then I'm going to blend out the rest with my finger. So now I'm going to use the Through My Eyes eyeshadow palette, and I'm taking the shade Nostalgia, which is like a soft, dusty rose, and that's going to be my first transition shade. After blending that, I'm going to take the shade Misbehave in the same palette, and that will be my second transition shade just to deepen my crease. So I'm going to be using the Morphe 3502 palette to use this shade here, and this is going to deepen my crease and also kind of start forming the halo eye that you see on the other eye. So now I'm going to use this brown shade, and I'm going to use it on both the inner and outer corners of my eyes, and this is going to help define the halo eye as well. Now I'm going to use this deeper brownish purple shade to do the same thing, just to further create definition on the inner and outer eye. These editors are programming today's copy of the paper into that same Ohio computer. When the telephone connection between these two terminals is made, so using that same flat brush that I used for the P. Louise base, not adding any products, I'm going to just place it in the middle of the eye, and this is just going to be a base for my Inkblot pigment that I'm going to use in the center of the eyelid. The Inkblot pigment that I'm using is the number 123, and it's like a pinkish gold shimmery color. That's the best way to describe it. So I just place it in the middle of the eyelid using a flat brush, and for this part I'm just going to be kind of blending it in, trying to make it look as even as possible to the other eye. So I'm just going to be going back and forth a lot, and then I'm going to take the shade Misbehave again in the ColourPop Through My Eyes palette and place that outside of the Inkblot pigment just to kind of blend it out and make sure that there aren't any harsh lines. So now here I'm just using the Morphe 35B palette, and I'm using this bright pink color to use for my lower lash line. I am going to touch it up later on, but I just wanted to put it there to see how I liked it and see how it looked. So now moving on to the face, I'm going to prep my face and I'm going to use my rose hip oil as moisturizer and my Fenty Beauty primer. And for foundation, I'm going to be using the Fenty Beauty foundation in the shade 350. My bottle is like broken. I don't know if this has happened to anybody else, but the pump just doesn't work anymore. So now I have to open the bottle up and put it on my brush and put it on that way, and it just is making a mess every time. But I'm going to finish it before I buy another one.
Less than fashionable cubbyhole of the San Francisco Examiner. These editors are programming today's copy of the paper into that same Ohio computer.
So just to quickly touch on the Fenty Beauty foundation again, I like this foundation. I personally am just not a huge fan of the finish of the foundation. It's a very matte foundation, and also I kind of find it a little bit harder to blend than my NARS foundations or other foundations that I reach for. But it's not like terrible. It's not like so hard to blend where I get frustrated. It just takes a little bit more work is what I've noticed. This foundation is like the most perfect match to my skin, so I do appreciate it for that. And it's not a bad foundation. I would buy it again. So now for the concealers, I've been using them for some time now. I ordered them online when they first came out, and I immediately jumped a few shades higher and got 330, which is perfect. This shade is like, I really, really love this shade. The consistency is a good consistency. It's creamy. It's definitely not too loose or watery, and it blends out very easily. The only thing that I noticed with this concealer is that after you apply it and blend it out, it can sometimes lose the coverage. So I've found myself a couple times just going back and adding more concealer to cover up, you know, some spaces under my eyes, like where it looks a little bit dark or it looks like, you know, my skin is peeking through a little bit. So that's the only issue that I have. Otherwise, I think it's a pretty good concealer. I like the way it blends out, and I of course love the shade range. So I also purchased the shade 310 in the concealer, and this is just to further brighten under my eyes when I feel like, you know, I need just a little bit more brightness. And I just put it immediately under my eye and blended it right out in that area.
Paper into that same Ohio computer. When the telephone connection between these two terminals.
So instead of buying a darker shade of the concealer to contour, I purchased the matchstick in the shade Truffle because I've had my eye on it for a while, but the issue with this is the way that it blends, so that's why I didn't purchase it before. So it does take some work to blend this matchstick shade out, but I just try to warm it up on the back of my hand to kind of thin it out a bit, and then I'll use it. So right now I'm just using it to contour my nose, and then I'm going to use it to contour my face.
Meanwhile, across town, in this less than fashionable cubbyhole of the San Francisco Examiner, these editors are programming today's copy of the paper into that same Ohio computer. When the telephone connection between these two terminals is made, the newest form of electronic journalism lights up.
So now I'm going to use my Laura Mercier powder just to set under my eyes. I didn't buy the Fenty Beauty powder as a setting powder slash baking powder, but I did buy the shade to go all over my face, which I'm going to show you guys later. So now I'm just setting under my eyes, and I'm also going to use the powder to help contour my cheeks a little bit more. Now I'm going to finish off underneath the eyes, and I'm going to use that same hot pink shade from the 35B palette by Morphe. And I'm also going to use the shade Nostalgia in the Through My Eyes palette to kind of just diffuse that color a little bit and make it a little smoky. So here I'm going to be using the Fenty Beauty face powder. I purchased the shade Honey, which is like the perfect all over face shade for me. So I really got this powder to get into the habit of setting my face after I finish my makeup. Usually I just set with setting spray, and I rarely set my whole face with powder. But I'm gonna just try to get into the habit of doing that, you know, just so that my makeup lasts longer throughout the day. But I really do like this powder. I feel like the powder should definitely be purchased, especially for the shade range that it comes in. It's not too cakey. It feels really good on the face and lightweight. So I really do love the powder. The powder is a go for me. So I'm using the Fenty Beauty highlighter palette, the shades Ginger Binge and Moscow Mule, just to blush up my cheeks and to highlight my cheeks as well.
Meanwhile, across town, in this less than fashionable cubbyhole of the San Francisco Examiner, these editors are programming today's copy of the paper into that same Ohio computer.
So now I'm just using the Fenty highlighters Mean Money and Hustler Baby to highlight my nose and the bridge of my nose. And I'm also going to use Mean Money to highlight right in the inner corners of my eyes. For the lips, I'm keeping it very simple. I'm using MAC's lip liner in the shade Cork, and I'm using my Marc Jacobs lip gloss in the shade Moonglow, just to give a simple glossy pinkish lip to go with this look. You could definitely make it more dramatic by adding, you know, a lipstick of a certain pink shade or like a plum lipstick or whatever you want, but I just wanted to keep it simple with some lip liner and some gloss. And after spraying my face with some setting spray, that completes this look. I really hope that you guys like it and can recreate it for Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Again, I hope you enjoy the holiday and it's filled with love, love, and more love. See you guys in my next video.